Week 10. Colts still are 3-5-1, better record than the Raiders. Fill in the blank. I'll consider Jeff Saturday's head coaching debut a success if the Colts what? They are 6-point underdogs.
I mean, really, I look at it, if the Colts just avoid major disaster, I mean, that's really kind of how I look at it. I mean, I'm not going to pick them to win the football game. I'm not. I'm going to be totally transparent about that. I can't after this week. But, you know, if it's just not like a total 35-0, 42-0 type of game, I mean, and he doesn't mess up situations, and it looks like the process is somewhat normal watching the game on TV, then I think it's somewhat of a success. You know, as long as it's not a blowout, and like I said, doesn't make some huge blunder. I think that's at least a start. My expectations aren't real high here with this.
Yeah, mine aren't either. And look, we're going to be watching very carefully. Does Saturday look the part? Is he going to have the same issues Nathaniel Hackett had getting plays in? On game day, there isn't much the head coach ultimately has to do, but you've got to do it in a way that inspires confidence to everyone around you. You got to make quick decisions. You got to have systems in place. And look, Irsay was upset with the idea that, you know, the whole thing's broken. It's all these NFL coaches that are afraid of their own shadow. Well, you still got a coaching staff that was part of this. And, Chris, there was a report yesterday that Scott Milanovic, the quarterback's coach, declined the play calling.
That's what I had said, right?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said yesterday morning.
We don't know how these guys are on the coaching staff dealing with this, and is there kind of a soft mutiny? Is there resistance? Is there reluctance? Is Saturday able to get them all on the same page? It's gonna take everything that he has from a personality standpoint to hold this together. But you know, if he looks like an NFL coach, if he acts like, moves like, if everything looks normal, then you know, you pass the eyeball test, and if the team functions in a normal way, if you don't have multiple delay of game penalties, if you don't have, you know, just a bunch of stuff,
exactly.
Like, whoa, we don't,
right.
You know, what the hell is that? You know, to eliminate the mental mistakes,
process management errors. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Also, one other thing, and we've managed to blow any extra time we had compiled, but something Irsay said to The Athletic that I noticed yesterday on Matt Ryan, he insisted that Matt Ryan has not been benched for the rest of the season, even though that's exactly what Frank Reich said. Irsay has suggested that Ryan could be back at some point. Now, again, I don't know whether this is just him going above and beyond to reduce any impression that they're tanking, but that really struck me. The idea that the boss says maybe Matt Ryan's going to be back this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but I was surprised he said it, Chris. Of course, I guess nothing should surprise me.
I was going to say, why are you surprised anything has come out of there? Right.
Never mind.
I know. And that's one, too, where, I mean, Matt Ryan, he might be looking at that like, what? You want me to play? No, thanks. Thank you very much. You can keep Sam Ehlinger in there. Thank you. And I'm sure I doubt he's chomping at the bit to get back out there right now and be a part of this formula.
6-3 Seahawks at the 4-5 Buccaneers not really at. It's a home game for the Buccaneers, but they're playing in Munich, Germany. Buy or sell? The Buccaneers will turn things around in the second half of the season, starting with this game against Seattle. We're not really asking you to pick the Bucs to win. We defer that to our Mega Picks podcast. But
no. Buy
or sell, this is where the Bucs turn it around.
Well, so what's like, I'll ask you, what's our vision of turning it around? Like what classifies that as turning it around? You know, again, like get back on just a winning record are we talking about, or do we think that turning around is going to result in like some run here down the stretch where all of a sudden they win, 8 out of the last 9?
I mean, they're tied for first place and technically in first place in the NFC South.
Yes, right.
And turning it around means, all the things that have been going wrong starting to go right. Running game reactivated. Offensive line a little better. Defense a little better. Just the things that have plagued them so far going away. And I just see this as Tom Brady entering the stretch run of his career, ultra focused, ultra determined. And Chris, you know what benefits the Bucs this week? It's going to be a Super Bowl atmosphere in Germany. And it's going to be a big deal. And you're going to have some guys that walk into that arena and they're going to be like, holy crap, not Brady. And Brady's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment. And I think this sets up perfectly for them to really. Last week they beat the Rams, so that's kind of the glimmer. This really sets up for them to, if they're ever going to do it. And we've been saying that about them and the Packers. If they're ever going to do it, they're going to do it now. But if they're ever going to find their groove and really put together a story that becomes the exact opposite of the mess the first half of the season was, this is it, this opportunity in Germany.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for a good story. I'm rooting for the Bucs to turn it around. They bottomed out, and now the process of digging out makes it for a potentially great story.
I'm buying it, too. I am. I'm not buying it into the fact where I think they're going to go on some, like, magical run here, and then we're going to get done with the year and be like, oh, man, they ended up 12-5 or 11-6. Like, no, that's not happening. Every game's going to be a struggle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nothing's going to be easy, but I think that, to your point, they're going to come out on top more than they will, come out on the other side. The defense is healthy. We saw last week. I mean, you take away literally just basically 2 pass plays from Matthew Stafford in that game. There's 2 deep ball pass plays in the game. After that, they could not do anything. I mean, there was nothing. So Vita Vea, Akeem Hicks, him being back, Murphy Bunting, Carlton Davis being back, Antoine Winfield's healthy, and I think the offense being just good enough to where, yeah, Mike, I think they're going to turn it around too here to a degree, but I don't think they're going to turn into like an NFC powerhouse. I don't see that.
But Chris, all I got to do is win that division. They'll be the 4th seed. At worst, the 4th seed. And once you go to the playoffs, the records get thrown out the window. The only way the records are relevant is teams that had really good records may feel extra pressure. Buccaneers go into this saying, hey, here we go. And Tom Brady versus Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady versus Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady versus Geno Smith, which we'll see on Sunday. You put that in a single elimination round when Brady's got 47 of those games that he's played over the last 20 years.
I know you're holding on to dreams though. You're holding on. You're talking about a guy that's playing really average football at quarterback. I mean, really average.
All right.
It's just I mean, you saw him shit down his leg in the game last year. You saw him do it the year before that in Green Bay.
Children are watching this show.
Well, welcome to the NFL, kids. Here we go. It's grown-up talk here. So you're holding on to pipe dreams, but I understand your point. Nobody's gonna like seeing them coming to town.
We know of one child specifically who's watching the show today. Good morning, Mikey. You get another word in your vocabulary, although if you've been hanging around him, he probably already knows it.
Yeah,
Cowboys at the Packers. On a scale of 1 to 10, confidence in Aaron Rodgers bouncing back from his 3-interception performance in Week 9's loss to the Lions.
Gosh, it's another one where I want to go like, what's the bounce back? But okay, I'm gonna my confidence there is like 6. I mean, we're not, again, I think we're seeing what we're seeing. They made a few more plays last week against Detroit. Whoop-de-doo. They made a few plays against the worst defense we've seen in football over the last 5 years. I mean, great. And they resulted into 9 points. There's still the same issues with him. I mean, it's the offense is not aggressive. He's not aggressive, period. There's still a number of throws, and you look at that game last week where you go, I don't know what he's looking at. He's looking at the rush. He's not looking downfield, or he's worried about his completion percentage. That's it. People are open. And then, these throws right here, they're horrible. I mean, that's a horrible throw. Bakhtiari was going to have to dive back to catch that ball. This is Rodgers' problem here. The guy was open. He just can't pull the trigger. He was 3 seconds late throwing the ball. So, I mean, bounce back to the point where he won't throw an interception because he's going to throw every ball, the most conservative throw in the history of football this game. And so it won't be his fault. That's what I expect. So, I'm going to give it a 6 just because of no turnovers, but lack of big plays certainly going to be that too. They're annoying.
I was on radio somewhere yesterday, and I was asked this question. I hadn't thought of it before. That's why I like doing these, because it's like the conversation we have. You talk it through, you get ideas. I was asked, at what point will they bench Rodgers for Jordan Love? Because at what point do you basically throw in the towel and say, we're done this year, we got to start treating the rest of these games as preseason for next year, and let's get Jordan Love some reps. Let's get him to the point where the game slows down. And they would never bench Aaron Rodgers. But what they would do, potentially, is just put him on injured reserve with a thumb The thumb's still an issue. He didn't practice yesterday because of the thumb. He said he tried to practice some last Wednesday, throw it some, and it just hurt too much. So that thumb continues. They got 4 games. They got Cowboys, Titans at home, then on the road against the Eagles and the Bears, then their bye week, and then 4 games after that. If they're done, if they lose these next 4, and I'm not saying they're going to lose 4 in a row, but they've lost 5 in a row.
Oh, they can easily lose these next 3.
I wouldn't be stunned if they put him on injured reserve, and that's how it ends, with a whimper, where he's just on injured reserve because of his thumb. And because, think about it. Is he going to want to, if they are done, if they're eliminated or pretty damn close to it, see, this is the benefit of having 7 spots in the playoffs. It takes each team longer to be mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
So you're alive deeper into the season. You throw in extra games, too, and you've got another opportunity to get back into it. But I'm looking at Week 16 at Miami, Christmas Day, one of the 3 games to be played, standalone, TV audience, captive, sitting at home, drinking eggnog laced with ayahuasca. Is he going to want to be part of that if it really is a complete and total mess by then? Is that his, like, this is my last game that anybody's going to watch, or is his attitude going to be, I don't want to be part of this? I don't know. I don't know. But these are all things that I think are at least relevant to start thinking about if this continues. If they lose Sunday and Thursday, 4 days apart, if 3-6 becomes 3-8 and they can't win at home against the Cowboys or the Titans, all bets are off at that point, Chris.
Maybe you're right. I don't doubt it. I don't. I don't think I'd let him off the hook if I'm Green Bay. I'd make him play and go, you're making $50 million, and you played not good this year. You're playing. You're going to stick this out and deal with the ugliness just like the rest of us. Welcome, right?
Here's a shovel.
That's what I would do. I mean, I would. I wouldn't let him off the hook, but we'll see where it goes. But, yeah, Rashawn Gary hurt. Dobbs hurt. I mean, and it's the Dallas Cowboys coming to town with Mike McCarthy.
With 2 weeks to get ready.
Right, and Mike McCarthy, you don't think he wants to shove it up the Green Bay Packers fan base and everybody right there, right? So there's a lot of motivation on Dallas' side. It's ugly in Green Bay. It really is. Their defense still good. It's going to be tough moving the ball on them, and it's good. But the offense, it is what it is right now, and he's having, I think, really the worst year of his career. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
It really is a shame that it's happening this way. And early on, it was Brady that was the one that was looking like Willie Mays, who stayed too long. Now it's Rodgers, who is looking like those throws from the Lions game. That's the kind of thing. And that's got to drive him crazy because that's not what we've seen from him. And it eats into those great statistical achievements that become the thing he can point to and say, I may not have the championships, but look at this. I've got this ratio. I've got this stat. I've got that. He's undermining those. And that's what he was trying to avoid, we thought, based upon his reluctance to throw the ball into tight windows. But my God, it just has been, it's been something, and we'll see if that something ends this weekend. Our game, Sunday Night Football, 5-3 Chargers at the 4-4 49ers. The 49ers coming off of their bye week. Here's the question. With Deebo Samuel coming back off of the bye, the 49ers offense with Christian McCaffrey will what?
Look awesome. That's what. It will look awesome. I just think, first off, Shanahan had time before the bye to start playing with this formula. Now we had a little extra time here, let alone it's a team that I think is healthy now, or as close to as healthy as it's going to be all year long, right? So we saw the unveiling of McCaffrey with that last game against the Rams, but Deebo Samuel wasn't involved. And now we're going to see the full unveiling, I think, of what the offense can deliver and where it may go. And I don't think it's going to be anything crazy or what we don't expect. We know what to expect. Shanahan's going to have people going in every which direction and having everybody's head spinning and using, Deebo and McCaffrey as decoys and sometimes the main coys and just go and play ball that way. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I expect the 49ers to hit the ground running and kind of start showing that they're a Super Bowl caliber team from here on out.
They just have to keep enough of their key players healthy, they will be arguably the most dangerous team in the NFC. You know what, Chris? It just kind of occurred to me.
Yeah.
The 49ers are the NFC's version of the Ravens. That team that
yes,
you just can rely upon to show up and kick your ass.
That's right.
And you better be careful or they will.
Yeah.
And 10 years after, we saw the Ravens and the 49ers.
It wouldn't be shocking. No, those are the two teams that I know we've talked about this a lot, and we look at the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Vikings as top teams, and the NFC, and we know the AFC with the Bills and the Chiefs and all that. But yeah, those are probably enemy number one to upset that little formula there on each side is the Ravens and the Niners, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I think those are two teams. The Ravens have shown the ability to play at a very high level during the year. They've messed some things up, but their ultimate high-end play, to me, when I see it, I go, damn, that's really good. That's scary. And the same with the 49ers. And to your point, you're right. They both pride themselves on, like, what? We're the ass kickers out here. We're the team that's going to punish you into oblivion. And there's something to respect about that, and it translates to playoff football like we see a lot of times too.
We really have kind of stumbled our way into the best time of the year. Here we are halfway through the season, but we're 2 weeks exactly from Thanksgiving. And then we go into the Christmas season. And then once Christmas is over, the NFL regular season is coming to a crescendo. And then we get into the postseason where you've got all these teams that had reasons to feel really good about the season they had being pitted against each other, and someone's got to go home. All these great teams, and all but 2 of them are going to get thrown to the wayside at some point in January. It's an amazing couple of months that will be coming up, and it really gets started tonight with the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina. Other than tonight, it's a great couple of months that's coming. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.